it was real rough, man. It was hard. I didn't have family to call on, and she didn't either. So it was like me and her had to help each other, and we got to figure this out. For the kids, we got to do this stuff. But at the same time, I feel like if that stuff didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be who I am now. You know what I mean? Those hard times help make me a better person and appreciate the smaller things that people take for granted a lot of times.
You're listening to the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast, where we cut through the noise and get straight to what really works for real people. This is more than just losing weight. It's about gaining life and doing the things you never thought you could do, building lasting confidence, and creating a body and mind you truly love. I'm your host, John Adams. I've spent years refining a transformative, sustainable plan that's realistic, balanced, and proven to work. And I'm on a mission to share the strategy that changed my life and help others build the life they truly deserve. Welcome to a very special episode of the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast. Today's going to be just a bit different. I'm hosting what I hope is going to be a very special episode. I've got a great group of guys that are just from all different walks of life with different experiences. And I'm calling this the first annual Men's Mental Health Roundtable. I'm hoping to do this again, maybe with different guys. Maybe these guys will enjoy it and want to come back. But at the end of the day, I just want us to all know that there's a lot of stuff that most of us guys don't really ever talk about. We bottle it up. We push through it. We tell ourselves that we just need to tough it out and just keep moving. But underneath it all, stress, pressure, grief, health scares, burnout, it's all there. And we just sit in silence. And that silence, it's heavy. So today we just want to break that silence in hopes that maybe just one of you out there, someone going through it right now, can know that you're not alone. Because here's the truth. You don't have to do it all yourself. And you don't have to have it all figured out to take the first step. Sometimes just hearing that somebody else says, yeah, I've been there too. Sometimes that's enough to understand that tomorrow is another day and it's just around the corner and tomorrow's a fresh start. This isn't going to be about perfect answers or polished advice. It's going to be about real conversations. We're going to be honest. We're going to share things that are really going on. And for some of us, things that we've made it through. And for others, things that we're going through right now, things that we thought we had no way out of, and that we're here today to show that it is possible. And we just want to prove that strength doesn't come from staying quiet. So let's get into it. First off, thank you all for being on the podcast and joining the Men's Mental Health Roundtable. I know this isn't going to be super easy for any of you guys. Most of you have never done this before. And on top of that, none of us are used to talking about this stuff at all, especially on a podcast. So before we dive in, we're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves. And just to take the pressure off of you, I'll go first. Here's what I want you to do. I just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, maybe what you do, one thing that you think you might bring to the conversation, and just throw your age out there because three of us are pretty close to the same age, and then we've got a youngster in here. So you're going to represent the young crowd that's coming up today. Let me go ahead and get started. So for everybody new here to the podcast, I'm John Adams. I'm 46, and I've been driving rideshare for over 3 years. After leaving an almost 20-year career to focus on my health, both mentally and physically. And I'm the host of the Health, Tech, and Wellness Podcast. And here's what I hope to bring to the conversation. Years of trying to hold it all together between health scares, family stress, and the pressures just to be strong. I know what it feels like to stay quiet and just push through. And to be completely honest, even though I'm the host of a podcast, I'm still figuring it all out. Up until recently, and a couple of these guys can attest to this, I wasn't even the guy that would say I love you very easily. And if you got a hug from me, it was a special occasion and you better hold on to it because I rarely ever did it. So because like a lot of us men, I thought that holding it all in was part of being strong, keeping it in, holding on to it and just moving on. But the truth is that kind of silence doesn't protect you. It isolates you. And I've learned slowly through a lot of trial and error that real strength doesn't come from pretending you're okay. It comes from facing what's really going on. And I'm learning that talking about it doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. And that's why I wanted to do this today. And just a reminder before you guys all dive in, what feels like the end of the world to one person might not even phase another person. But that doesn't make the struggle any less real. We all carry different weights. It's all shaped by our different experiences in our life. One person's experience is going to be completely different than another. And hopefully, you guys out there that are listening today can relate to some of this. But at the end of the day, just know that we're all in this battle together. We all get one go round on this big blue ball that we call Earth. So today, we're just going to talk real from real men trying to get through this chaos that we call life. So, okay, Frank, let me kick it off to you. How about you just run through who are you, give us your age, what do you do, and just what you think that you can bring to the conversation.
Okay, my name is Frank Rosales. I'm 46 years old. I'm a railroad carman, repair rail cars. Um, I don't know. I just had some, I guess, unique life experiences. A lot of hard times, you know. Hopefully that I'm through now and things won't be like that anymore. I'm doing a lot better now, of course, than I was 10, 15 years ago, you know. So, just some unique stories and life experiences I say that I have to offer.
Thanks so much, Frank.
You're welcome.
So go ahead, big man Randy. Why don't you take us off next?
Hello, I'm Randall Grimmett. I'm 47 years old. I used to drill for natural gas and oil. I was a roughneck for a while. Got injured at work and also mentally, so I'm disabled. What I bring to that thing, this platform is I fought mental health all my life. I fought injury. A husband, father that's now divorced. I've tried committing suicide on several occasions. So yeah, I mean things are rough out there because, like John said, men usually don't talk about these kind of things because we're men. We're brought up to that way, and so it is good to talk about things like that. So I think I could bring a unique perspective to that those kind of things where a loss of family, a loss of job, a loss of whatever. So that's what I think I bring to the table.
Awesome. Thanks, Randy. And Lee, I'm finishing with you being the youngest guy of the group. You represent the culture of change that our world is in. So go ahead and take it from there.
I'm Lee Copen. I'm 20. I'm definitely the youngest here. I'm more for this age. I've grown up in it. I'm living in it. I've dealt with anxiety, depression my entire life. Recently, as of like I think 8 months ago, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and that's an everyday battle. And still every day fighting with depression, anxiety. Lots been going on.
Let's circle over to you, Randy, if you're willing, and hopefully you are, to talk about your experience when you thought you were in that darkest spot and you attempted suicide. And luckily failed, and you're here today with us, and we love you. But can you kind of share where your mind was, what you felt like, why you felt like that was the only option?
All right. I come from a huge family. You know, from my mother's side, huge. So every day, I mean, it was nothing to go in my kitchen and see like 20 different people in there. That's like neighbors and friends and family, just cooking, shooting the shit, or shooting the breeze. You know,
I can bleep.
and so snacking and stuff like that. And, so I grew up with that. So I always wanted that all my life. So one things I always wanted when I was very young was to be married and have kids, have a wife. And, and I did get married very young. Me and my ex-wife just very, very young. I was still in high school. My first son, which I adopted, actually, by the way, a real adoption. Uh, she was like, I think she was raped or something like that when I first met her by her ex-boyfriend, and she was pregnant. And we kept him. Like I said, he's my son. I love him. He's my boy. But after a while, I was married 7, 8 years. We dated for a while, but like I said, almost her whole term of pregnancy. So 7, 8 years. We were together almost 9 years. So when you're married that young, I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, I know what I want. I know what I want," but it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I can't put all the blame on her, because that's not fair. I mean, of course, I have my faults too. We're young parents, we make mistakes and everything like that. But when the divorce finally happened and she took my kids out of state, it just broke me. I was broke. Then I tried it a few times back west, and uh, I had family out here that why don't you come over here? And I finally did it one more time over here, and it put me in a coma for a few months. It really took it out of me. So when I lost my family, I mean, I think that's what it was. I mean, I couldn't hear my kids. I couldn't, hold my kids, give hugs, kisses. I mean, they're my kids. I love them. I love my wife too very much. But I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Hey, life goes on. Kind of deal too. I mean, I look back now, even though I still fight depression today. I look back now. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, more than half of marriages are failing today. I mean, I speak to my kids, but not as much as I'd like to. They're both grown, and my son's married and stuff like that. They're very busy, but now I got people around me where I got family, I got friends. I got girlfriends on and off here and there and stuff like that, which is pretty cool sometimes. But but I mean, to me, it just like it was just all taken away. My mom moved out and everything like that. She moved out, so I didn't know where she was. She's just kind of up in the spirit. I had a really rough childhood to begin with this stuff, so I think that's why I wanted that stuff so much, so fast, and so early. But like I said, being as young as I was, you just don't know. You don't know. A parent can tell you, a friend can tell you, an adult can tell you. You just don't know until you experience it. It's a lot rougher than what they think it is. It's rough.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and that's kind of part of what you just said is the biggest key is we can all tell each other, "Hey, I've been there. Hey, I know what you're going through." But, what we're going through in our own heads is always different than what everybody else's experience was. So I appreciate you kind of throwing that out there. No matter what people say, you really don't know until you've experienced it. So now looking back, and again, we're glad that they were failed attempts, and you're still here. But if you had one piece of advice for somebody in that same situation that's looking at, they think that's their only option, um, and I kind of wish I would have given you this question ahead of time so you could have thought about it. But I want you to be right off the cuff. And if you had to give a piece of advice, if there's somebody listening right now that is contemplating that, what would that piece of advice be?
Fight through it. Just fight through it every day. Fight through it. Fight through it. Find somebody to talk to. They don't have to share your struggle. They don't have to share what you're going through. They just somebody that can listen so you can get stuff off of your chest. Does that make sense?
100%. That's the key thing. And when a lot that I talk on the podcast and with the Living 95 is building that community and having those people that you can talk to and reach out to. And that's kind of the purpose behind me wanting to do this podcast. This episode especially is to show that, as men especially, we do not talk about this stuff, and we bottle it up, and sometimes we don't even talk about it with our spouses, right? And we're definitely not sitting in the garage drinking a beer talking with each other about it. These are conversations that most of us bottle up until it's too late. And as few of you know, and Frank had the opportunity to speak with him once on the phone. I had a really good friend who was the most happy-go-lucky guy in the world, and last summer took his life, and his wasn't failed. He was dead set on it, and he accomplished it, and he's gone now. And if us as men could start having these conversations and reaching out to each other and saying, "Hey, man, I'm really going through this situation right now. Can I just vent?" A lot of times we all want to give answers, and honestly, in my opinion, the last thing I want to do is tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just going to tell you, hey, I'm here to listen. Get it off your chest. Let's because sometimes just getting it off your chest and talking about it, man, that helps. Would you say that that's accurate?
That's actually really accurate. And the thing is there's nothing wrong giving advice. Just don't take it where, hey, they listen to it, because, like you said, okay, some things can be similar, but in my mind, I got something different I want out of life compared to like you, Frank, Lee. There's different things that I want. And so sometimes it's good, like you said, just to vent it out. And that's what I think. I like fishing like that, because you're alone, you got your thoughts in your head. Find a hobby, have your thoughts in your head, and kind of figure out what you want, strive towards that thing. Make sure it's not too big either. Start small, because if you start too big with something that you want to accomplish that way, it's too much. Start small, accomplish small things that you want out of life, and it does get better. I mean, for me, it's getting better. So, like I said, with the right kind of supports and everything, it does get better.
Yeah, you and Jay are on the phone a lot, and I know that you and your roommate talk a lot, and you hit something else right on the head, and that's your why, and something that you enjoy doing that you can switch that over to. So yeah, I would say two big takeaways for me is connection, speaking with somebody, and having that. We lost Frank.
Yeah,
He'll jump back on, I'm sure, but let me just
text
text
him.
him and let him know.
I was gonna let you finish what you were saying before I brought it up. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back. Perfect. Okay, I was going to text you, Frank.
Frank, you disappeared.
But going back to what I was saying, those two big takeaways that I see is our, find a group, find that person, whoever that is, an organization or just a friend that you can talk with and express your emotions. And then yes, those hobbies, those things that you enjoy. What really helps me, and I'll ask you, Randy, before we move on, is I find for me having a why, having that one thing that keeps me going every day, and hold on to that. That why might be big, it might be small, but at the end of the day, having that why really is a big proponent to just
It it it
rolling
is
out of bed every morning.
it is a big one.
Well, awesome. So let's move over to you, Frank. You I know you've had your life that you've lived, and you've lived a completely different life than the four of us. Um, you want to just kind of divulge some of your things that you've come through, and we can dive in a little bit.
Yeah. I have three adopted, well, actually four adopted sons. So me and Randy kind of share that, a little bit. Uh, so that I guess that's partially, as you speak, is the thing that keeps you going. That's part of that. You know what I mean? That
Yeah,
when I don't want to get up in the morning or do my job, whatever, it's like, yeah, got to. So that's a lot to do with it. But I mean, and of course my girlfriend, everything else like that. But yeah, I went to school a long time ago, man, and I left here and I went to Wyoming, and after that I stayed gone for about 15 years, and I just kind of moved from state to state, man. From Wyoming to New Mexico, South Dakota, back to New Mexico, back to South Dakota, Nebraska, Nevada. So kind of went everywhere. And I didn't have family at any of those places. It was kind of just me and my girlfriend and my two stepchildren also. So, you know what I mean? We were trying to figure things out as we went kind of thing. And it wasn't very smooth at all. It didn't go very good. And she had family in like New Mexico, and it became one of those things of like, oh, you can come. It was all good, you come stay with us and everything. Oh, cool, we'll help. Blah blah blah. Before you know it, they kicked us out. They want more and more, and it just became a bad situation. So before we know it, we're going to soup kitchens, and you know what I mean, like and I'm working, it was real rough, man. It was hard. And you didn't have family to I didn't have family to call on, and she didn't either, so it was like me and her had to help each other, and we got to figure this out, for the kids. We got to do this stuff. But yeah, man, I don't know. But at the same time, I feel like if that stuff didn't happen to me, I wouldn't be who I am now. You know what I mean? Those hard times help make me a better person, and appreciate the smaller things that people take for granted a lot of times. So yeah, I don't know. Besides that, man, like as you speaking with the whole, like I think about it sometimes even too. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, I struggle sometimes with, man, maybe it'd be easier to not be here or not be doing this. You know what I mean? But like you said, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Just gotta stop thinking like that and keep on moving, man. Keep on doing something. To occupy your mind, or just to get your head off of that stuff. So I deal with that. I can say I deal with that all the time still. But I ain't gonna act on it. But I mean, I've had it pretty much sometimes where it's just like, damn, should I? Like it just. Well, I know it's not the right thing to do, but
Can I say something
what's
on
that?
what you just said right there?
Yeah,
Okay, and I agree completely with what he just said there. Like you said, you got a family and stuff like that. And the worst, like you said, the worst thing going bouncing other people's off. They siphon off you. They siphon off you hard. And like you said, because like Johnny said earlier, we hold this stuff in. I mean, a guy's job. We don't come home saying, "Hey, thanks for with the lights on, for the food in our stomach, for the clothes on our back." We come home. We got the big piece of chicken on the table. That's ours. And but
If
but
you're lucky,
that,
not
but
everybody.
but that's our thank you though. That's our
Yeah,
sacrifice, and
yeah,
we were
yeah,
raised to be like that. That's our sacrifice.
yeah.
Push it away, push it away. Like I said, it goes through your mind. I don't go. It goes through every man's mind, probably daily. Man, I'm tired of this junk. I'm tired of this. So yeah, I know exactly what you're going through. It's rough.
Yeah,
You know,
I
yeah,
think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I said even today he probably really successful, but I mean, still, you still got to roll out of bed, and like, his job probably ain't easy. Your car man on the road, it's not easy. I mean, he probably makes great money and stuff like that, but I mean, it's rough. It wears on you. It beats on our bodies, and we do it because we don't want our kids doing the kind of crap that we dealt with. And we want better for our families and our futures and our kids' futures. It's rough.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
at
don't
the
have
end of the
kids.
day, that's the key, is the why. Again, you've got your why is your kids, your girlfriend. I was going to ask and kind of circle back with you kind of getting into that situation where you were bouncing around and you were homeless and going to soup kitchens and stuff. And you mentioned one thing, you had Sonny, right? Now, when you're going through that, you've got her, and there's probably people listening and going, man, but I don't really have that other person with me. um, I could probably guess those times weren't always easy, even though you had each other. Sometimes it was probably even harder because you had each other, I'm assuming, right?
Well, I bet.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So let's circle over to Lee. So you don't have kids, you don't have a ton of responsibilities, but you've got this crazy world that we're currently living in that's changing probably
Yeah.
every time you turn the station, something new. So go ahead and give us your you went through the schizophrenia thing, and you said you kind of deal with that on a regular basis, and I know your mother is in the nursing home and stuff, so I know that's not easy for you.
No.
Just kind of talk to us from a 20-year-old today, the things that you're experiencing, that you're coming through, and some of your whys that keep you moving and your foundation.
Um, so I don't have kids, but my why is still my family. I stay here for my sisters, for my dad, for my mom, even though I don't get to see everyone every day. Sometimes my sisters make me upset. Sometimes they do really stupid stuff. But I still love them, and I stay here for them. Like I've also attempted suicide. Glad that didn't work. My mom saved my life when that happened, so I owe everything to her. So I stay here because she saved me one time. I can't let that happen again. I can't leave. Um, but yeah, dealing with schizophrenia, especially in a world that doesn't have that many people that deal with that, is hard. There's not really many people that I can be like, oh, does this happen to you too? But in the age of the internet, I can look things up. It's very helpful, but it doesn't make it any easier. Um, and yeah, having my mom in the nursing home, that's really difficult. Having someone as important as your mother and at such a young age, having her kind of not be able to help, not be there for me, is really difficult. Where um, she can't help. Um, and it's hard to get to that. Oh no.
No, we're good. You guys keep talking. I will fix my camera while you guys are talking. At the end of the day, let's kind of circle back around with you, Randy, um, on your journey post attempted suicide, your foundation, the people that you reach out to on a regular basis that kind of keep you grounded and keep you moving on a regular basis. And then I'm gonna fix my camera while you guys are doing that.
Believe it or not, one of them is Lee right here. You know, I mean, when I'm kind of like in a terrible mood and stuff like that, I don't know what it is. He just makes me smile. He's you're funny, and I love you for it.
I
Believe it or not,
try.
that's why I try to talk to you when I do talk to you. You know, just the bullcrap me and you just discuss. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love it. Of course, your dad. His dad is my cousin, but we're closer like brothers. You know, we're kind of thick as thieves, I would say. You know, like I said, my roommate Brandon, he's a good guy. I talked to Cindy a little bit, your wife there, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's my girl. I love her. So, I mean, the way I look at it now, the people I surrounded myself with, I mean, because I mean, come on, when you're fighting depression and stuff like that, drugs, alcohol, and all that other stuff, it really comes hand in hand with that stuff. It really does. As soon as I walked away from the alcohol, that really helped. As soon as I walked away
Yeah.
from the drug, that was it was huge. Just I mean, my life just really different. You know, I don't. I'm not saying all people on it are bad people. They're not. You know, I'm not going to say that. But if they can walk away from it, you know, I mean, you know, because I mean, when people are like, oh, I drink alcohol and kind of forget and stuff like that. Listen, the problems are still there. They'll always be there. That
It just
that's the
suppresses them
problem.
for a little bit longer.
Yeah, but it never
It
works.
doesn't get rid of them though.
Nope, and that's where your depression fights you even worse and worse and worse. And I think that's where the suicide started coming in towards me. You know, because like you said, I never talked to nobody. Everything was just pushed down, and got to be strong and go back to work and deal with what you have to deal with. And it's tough. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you guys are hitting a huge topic there that I had as one of my questions if we weren't flowing like we are. So I'm just going to throw it out because you guys are already on it. Um, is the replacing the uh, replacing our situation with the drugs, with the alcohol, with the other vices in life. Um, though, a lot of people, that's all they know at that moment, right? They know that if I get this bottle in me, I'll feel better, or if I get this, drug in me, I'll feel better. Can you talk about the um, post that the difference when you're coming out of these, because we all still have them, right? We all still have those situations where our um, we have those thoughts, right? We all do, and every
yes,
man that's listening would be lying if they said they didn't. So
yeah,
when you're previously going into those thoughts, and that's what you had was that chemical, we all kind of know where that took you. You touched on that, but post that, um, talk about your experience is it easier for you because you're not putting that in? You're leaning towards your core and your friends and your people that you can talk to. If you guys could just touch on that for a minute.
Okay, believe it or not, yeah, actually, I do find it a lot easier. When I walked away from the alcohol, I mean, I felt a little bit better. When I walked away from the drugs and the alcohol altogether, it was easier for me to deal with it because, like you said, because like Lee said, when I use that stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong, I felt high, I felt great for the moment. Let's party up a little
Yeah.
bit with people I think are my friends and shit. It, it all has blowback. Every bit of it has blowback. Your so-called people that are your friends that are doing the drugs with you and stuff. They only use you for whatever you have at the. You don't see it at the time, but that's how it played out for me, anyways. And a
Yeah.
lot of other people that I know. Like I said, the alcohol is just alcohol. It's a depressant to begin with, so
Oh yeah.
that you're thinking, oh, I'm crying in my beer. It happens. It's just terrible. And I'm not saying I don't drink, because after a hard day working in a yard, it's not wrong having a nice cold beer or two. Nothing wrong with that, but I just won't get drunk again. It's kind of a promise I made myself. I will not get drunk again.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Now, mind you, I was drunk the other night, Sonny, Frank's girlfriend's birthday, but no, I'm the same way. I've removed alcohol from my home on a regular basis, where it used to be here regularly.
Yeah,
It's special occasions now. It's with friends. It's happy times, right? Um, I did learn a valuable lesson. I'm not going to cut this out. I need to get a different battery for my camera. So let my camera cool down for a minute. So right now I'm audio. So you guys are going to be big and beautiful faces on the screen and not small
I
ones
mean, who
as
wouldn't
we're
want to see this
finishing this
face?
conversation up. And I'll get my camera back up once it cools down.
it's your
I
time
need
to
to get a
shine,
dummy
fellas.
battery.
Right. I mean, like I said, who doesn't want to see this beautiful face?
Well, uh, it's anybody that wants to support the podcast. I need a dummy battery.
Exactly.
But let's do a quick round robin of just if just one piece of advice that if there's a person listening right now that is going through it, one piece of advice that you could give, think about it when you're thinking about this question. Here's what I want you to think about. When you're starting a podcast, they tell you to think about your avatar, think about the person you're talking to. So I have an ideal person in my head. That person is a real person, and that's who I'm speaking to when I'm looking into the camera and I'm talking to my audience. So what I'd like you to do before you answer, think about that person that you know. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be whoever, that if they were in that situation where just life is the darkest and you had that opportunity to be that spokesperson, to help them to maybe not make that choice, um, what would it be? So I'll go ahead and I'll start with you, Lee, and then we'll move to Randy, and then Frank, I'll give you the last word on that one.
Advice I'd give to someone going through things: don't give up at all. Like because I've had that thought. It's like just I'm gonna give up on what I do to make me happy. I'm just gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep doing this until I burn out, and then I'll just do something different. Don't do that. Give yourself time. Do things that you love. For you. Don't do things that you love for anyone else. Do what you need to do for you, and like take yourself as seriously as you would your brother or your sister or your friend or your kid. Take yourself as seriously as you would anyone else. Respect yourself, respect your body, respect your self-worth, and don't give up on yourself.
Awesome. Randy?
Like I said, actually, that's really good. I like that. Like I said, the things that you love, like I said, find a hobby, go fishing, drawing. I mean, something that's just personal for you. Nobody around you. It's just you. Right there. And like I said, because when I quit the drinking, when I quit the drugs, like I said, that stuff prolonged it. So When you're there thinking about your problems while you're doing your art, your drawings, your photos, your fishing, you're figuring out your problems in your life. You're figuring out your problems in your day to day, and on top of it, you're doing something that you love. It's peaceful. That's your meditation time, and it works. And always, always, always surround yourself by people that is always uplifting, like family and loved ones and members. That they don't need to say, "Oh, take this advice." They just listen. It's great to have that kind of support around you.
Awesome, Randy. Thank you so much. And Frank, go ahead and take it away.
I was gonna say something kind of similar. You know what I mean? It, I don't know, kind of makes me feel better anyway. But yeah, like you were saying about, you know what I mean, doing something you enjoy or that you like, or even to make yourself feel some kind of value. You know what I mean? When you feel like I ain't nothing, or you're real down on yourself. Um, and no matter what anybody thinks, if you take an enjoyment in that, or you like to do it, or whatever it may be, you know what I mean. Don't worry about what other people think, man, because they're not in your shoes, and everything, everybody's situation, and what everybody likes to do, or whatever, you know what I mean, or makes you feel good is different than anyone else. So if that gets you in a better place, or whatever, or if it makes you feel good just to even talk to someone, uh, do that, before you be too hard on yourself.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so
Like that, don't
much.
be too
And
hard on yourself.
that's the big key is
Yeah.
don't be too hard on yourself. At the end of the day, um, we are not in everybody else's shoes. We are not going through the same battles. We are not going through the same hardships. We are going through different battles, each and every one of us. And what I think that I would like everybody to take away from this is that before you make a tough decision, before you do something that you'll never be able to come back from, reach out to somebody, whether it's a friend, a family member, or if you don't have a friend or family member, 988 is a nice number. It's very easy. Dial it. Those guys are there, and they've been trained to talk to you about this stuff. As you can see, my camera is still trying to overheat on me. I keep coming back and forth. It's almost like it doesn't want you to hear this message. And we're not going to stop you from hearing this message. This is meant for somebody right now. So at the end of the day, guys, I want to thank you all for being on. I'm going to let my camera cool down for a few more seconds so we can wrap this thing up the right way. But at the end of the day, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day. Thank you for doing something that was a little uncomfortable. I know that as men, we don't do this, and we should. I'd like to invite you guys, whenever you want, if you want to jump onto any of these podcasts, we can talk about, any topic. Mine is the Health, Tech, and Wellness podcast. So if you got a new device you want to come on and talk up with me, let's have fun doing that too. We don't have to have a serious conversation all the time. But I wanted to have this serious conversation for people that are out there, and to understand that, as men especially, we do not talk about this enough, and we really need to. Again, at the end of the day, Sean, I wish that we could have had this conversation, and we never got to. So this is for all of you men out there who are, going through it. You think that the world it's never going to get any better. You've got a guy who was homeless, moving around, him and his girlfriend. Now he's got a great job. He's got, those kids and grandkids, and he's got 3-4 adopted kids, and they're doing great for each other, and he's always out working on his cars, and he keeps himself busy. And you've got Randy who tried a few times to call it the end, and the good Lord said, nope, not today, Randy. And he's still here, and he's got friends and he's got family that are glad for that, and we're so thankful that didn't happen, and he's still here. And then you got Lee, who's the young one of the bunch, who as Randy the other day, when we were kind of putting this together and I was showing him how to do it, said he looks like the mask from V from Vendetta. And I'm gonna throw that up one more time when I edit this, just so people can see, because I think it fits perfect, Randy. But I just want to throw something a little lighthearted in there, and let me see if I can get this camera one more time.
I don't see the resemblance.
Well, you'll see it. Wait until this thing gets edited. But anyway, guys, I just want to thank you guys again. I want to end this the way I do every one of my podcasts. So, as always, stay healthy, stay balanced, and keep driving forward. I'll see you next time.